Hey guys, Brian here with another video, and this video is going to be a little bit different than my other videos. It's not going to be so much about what to expect when you're over here or what to do when you're over here or whatnot, or how to get the visa. It's going to be more about a certain mindset that I had coming into this trip that kind of affected certain things that I did that I think that if you guys knew, you might be able to avoid. Okay, so this mindset is, I guess I kind of got to tell you some backstory, and it's going to be obvious, but I'm still going to say it. So I graduated in April of 2019. So I don't know what that is, like 8 months ago, I'm going to guess. Don't argue with me on the dates. Around 8 months ago, I graduated. So before that, from that point all the way back until I was, I don't know, I'm going to guess like 6 years old. I don't know how old you are in kindergarten, but from like 6 to 22, I was in school. And what I was used to doing, as everyone is, especially where we're from, is you go to school, you're in school, and then Christmas break. And then you have a break, and then you go to school, and then summer break. And then you have a break, and then you go to school, Christmas break, school, summer break, school, Christmas break, and so on and so forth every year. So what you're kind of conditioned to being used to doing is having fun for three or 4 months, and then going to school and learning, and then getting out of school and having fun and doing whatever, and then going back to school. And for me, personally, I had a lot of fun in my college summers, my college summer breaks. And that's because, one of my friends and I, during our freshman year, got our motorcycle licenses. So then him and I rode our motorcycles up to Sacramento and back down to San Diego one summer. We went down to Mexico and partied in Rosarito one summer. Not for very long, but like we went on a trip down to Mexico. I went backpacking in Zion one summer. Went to Hawaii and scuba dove and hiked, and we were gonna go on the Nepali coast. It was my mom and I, but that was a few months after they had this huge storm. The whole thing was destroyed, or the whole trail was destroyed, so we couldn't do that. But we still made the most of it. We went on other hikes and stuff. So basically, what I'm saying is, I was used to doing exciting things over summer breaks. So then, fast forward to end of college, and I graduated in the very, very, very end of April. So I had 1 month in May, and then I left June 4th. So essentially just 1 month, and then I left. So to me, I didn't do anything in that 1 month. I was kind of like saying bye to all my friends and packing and getting ready. So graduated, and then essentially just left. So I didn't have a summer break, and obviously I graduated, so most people were starting to work and everything. So you don't really have a summer break. Like once you graduate, you're essentially an adult, but you don't really feel like an adult. It doesn't really click. So to me, coming here, I was already used to doing exciting things, and then I came here. So mentally, I just kind of subconsciously assumed, I guess you would say, like I knew I was an adult, and I knew I needed to get a job and everything, but subconsciously, I didn't really understand that. And so I came here just kind of assuming that this was a summer break. Like, I'm coming here, I'm going to have some fun, and then I'm going home, and then maybe not going back to school, but then I'm going to go back and start my life, or go back and do this or that. So to me, when I first came here, this was a vacation. And that kind of affected certain things and certain choices that I made coming here. So when I first came here, like I said in a previous video a few months ago, I was in Dublin for 2 days, realized it was really expensive, and I didn't want to try and stay and then go broke. So then I moved to Galway for 1 week, and then to Inishmore. And the time I was in Galway, instead of going out and looking for a job and doing all this and that and trying to get an apartment and a job and whatever, set up my life in Galway, because that's where I wanted to stay at first. I went out. I was staying in a hostel, so everyone in the hostel is on vacation. So it's kind of hard to force yourself into, I guess you could say, adult mode. Like force yourself into professional mode when you're hanging out with people in the hostel that are on vacation. So you're hanging out with a bunch of people on vacation or on holiday. So I would go out to the pub with them at night. I would go hiking with them. I would go walk around. I would go exploring. I went down to the cliffs of Moher. I did all like the touristy stuff, which I mean, I just got here. I was here for like less than 2 weeks. So obviously I wanted to see the country and do all this cool stuff too. So that was cool. I'm really glad I got to see the cliffs and I got to see all this stuff. But I think I could have seen that over time if I would have started, like found a job and then saved up money and then been able to see that. But anyway, that's not the point. So when I was in Galway, I was just kind of hanging out, not looking for a job. I might have gone out to a few pubs and asked for a job and they said no. But really, I wasn't really looking for a job. I wasn't really looking for an apartment. I was just kind of hanging out. Like mentally, I was on vacation. So I was just hanging out at this hostel. Then somebody told me about Workaway and I was like, oh shoot, I got to start doing something or I'm not going to be able to stay here. So I went on Workaway and I applied to a bunch of jobs. I got a job out on Inishmore. And that was really cool. That was an amazing experience, and I'm super glad I did it. I still hang out with Lisa, one of the girls from my Cycling Inishmore video. If you guys watched that, she was in that video. So I still hang out with her because she's out near Dublin. She goes to school out here. And so I'm super glad I did that. Amazing experience. We would work for a few hours, 5 days a week, and then for the rest of the day, we'd be going out and exploring and going out to some cliffs and looking at the waves, or we'd be hiking, or we'd be doing this or that. So it was really cool. And that gave me some time to try and like figure things out and mentally try and understand like what I'm doing out here. And then my friend came to visit from San Diego that I went to high school with. We ran cross country together. So we didn't hang out a whole lot, but we knew each other. We were pretty good friends. And he came out to visit. And so I met him in Dublin and met him at the airport. We drove down, we hung out in Dublin for a few days, explored, kind of like saw some of the sights in Dublin. Then we took a train out to, or a bus, I don't remember. But we went out to Galway, and we were in Galway for a few days. And then we went up to Connemara. I don't remember the name of the city, but Connemara is like the mountain area up north from Galway. And so we went up there, and then he left and went back to the airport from there, and I left and went back to Dublin City from there. And so this whole time, I'm not really like doing anything. I'm not really trying to make myself a life out here. I'm just more like on vacation, having fun, doing whatever. And especially with him, because he came out here for vacation. So then I was just traveling around with him. And that was a really fun time, but at the same time, I was spending money. I wasn't making money. I wasn't trying to better myself. Then I went to Dublin and I got a hostel in Dublin, and I figured I'm just going to try and make it work. And then that's when I really started going out and looking for a job. And it wasn't so much that I mentally realized that, hey, I'm not a student anymore. I got to get a job. I got to start making money. It was more that I was running out of money. And I realized, hey, I need to make money or I'm going to have to fly back home. It wasn't so much that I realized, hey, I'm an adult now. It was more so I just realized I wanted to stay out here until my plane home. So it would kind of save me money because I already had the plane ticket home, obviously. So I needed to start making money. So I went out and I looked for a job, and then I looked for an apartment because that was going to save me money, because hostels in Dublin, just warning you, if you're getting a hostel out here, during the week, hostels are pretty cheap. They're like 15 to 20 a night. But on the weekends, the nights of the weekend, so Friday night and Saturday night, they jump up like 3 or 4 times the price. Like they'll be like 50 to 60 a night just on the weekends. So it's going to run you a lot. So if you're planning on staying in a hostel in Dublin, I don't know, maybe on the weekends, get a hostel outside of the city and then stay there and then come back or something, because it is ridiculous how expensive they are. Anyway, so I realized, hey, I'm not going to be able to afford staying in this hostel for very long, so I need to find a room. I'm not going to be able to afford staying here if I don't start making money. So then I started looking for a job, and that was kind of why I really started looking for a job. And then I found an apartment, found a job a few days later. I got the apartment first, and then I got a job a few days later. And all was great. I was having a good time. I was working, I was hanging out, I was doing fun stuff. And yeah, so, and then it didn't really click until a few months later that, hey, I'm not going back to school when I get home. I'm an adult now. I'm going back home. I need to find a job. I need to grow up. And it was kind of a hard transition. I was talking to my mom on the phone, and she kind of told me that she had a fairly not similar experience, because she didn't like move to another country and have this, but she had like a similar, oh my gosh, I'm graduated, what am I doing with my life kind of moment. So she kind of helped me realize that that's a normal thing to have. And for me, it actually happened in the gym, because I realized that I was working out in the gym and by my house, and I looked out the window and I saw a street with some cars, but it's a slow street, so some cars driving kind of slow, and then shops with like a coffee shop and a grocery store and a restaurant across on the sidewalk across the street. And that sounds pointless for me to say, but the reason that moment made me realize I'm not going back to school, why am I still living as if I am going back to school, is because seeing that maybe it was like a flashback to working out at college if you guys are from GCU, you'll know this gym, but the Papago gym. So we have like 3 or 4 gyms around the campus, and one of them is the second floor above the mailroom. And if you look out the window from there, you'll see a street, and there's not a lot of cars, and it's a slow street because it's on campus. And but there's some cars every now and then driving by. And then if you look across, then you'll see a dorm. But then if you look further, then you'll see the main road where all the restaurants are, and there's some coffee shops and everything. And it was really like this weird flashback where, man, this is just like at college, but it's not. I'm not on campus anymore. I'm not going back there. And for some reason, that moment made me realize, shoot, I am an adult. I am not going home. Like, my entire life is changing. I'm not going home to go back to school. When I go home, I need to find a job, and I need to become an adult, and I need to grow up. And so that moment really hit me as it helped me. This was a few months ago, but it helped me realize the mistakes I had made previously in my trip from that mindset of I'm just on summer break. So why I'm telling you this is because I think if you come onto this trip subconsciously thinking that you're on summer break, you're not going to have any motivation to go out and find a job and find an apartment, because you're just having fun. You're going to go traveling, and then you're going home, and you're going to school. So you need to really try and understand the fact that, and this obviously only applies to you if you aren't going back to school when you get home. Like if you're going back for your master's, or if you haven't graduated yet, then yes, obviously you're going back to school. But for me, I had graduated. So if you can mentally grasp the fact that this is life, this isn't a vacation, this is, your actual, I hate saying life because obviously a vacation is still part of your life, but for lack of a better term, I'm still going to say it, and you get what I mean. If you need to understand the fact that when you come here, this is still life. This isn't a vacation. This is like you're still spending money. When you go home, you need to work, so you need to make experiences and gain. What do you call it when you experience? Oh yeah, experience stuff. So you need to gain experience so you can take that back home and help you get a job. You need to try and save up some money because you're going to be going back home and you don't want to be broke. You can't treat this as if it's a vacation. And that mindset of I'm a student really hinders the process of making money and hinders the process of finding an apartment. So that's why I thought it was kind of important to make this video, just to let you guys kind of know my mindset coming into this trip and how I've changed. So now I'm actually applying to jobs back home. Haven't found any yet. I graduated in marketing, so I've been on Indeed and I've been on a few other websites and just applying and calling up some of my friends back home and seeing if they could help me. And I'm trying to get a job in marketing. So far, nothing, but we will see. And yeah, so come here, have a good time. But what I would recommend is don't go out and do all this fun stuff that you think you want to do. Maybe for the first couple of days because it's a new city, you want to experience it, but save, the trip, save the Cliffs of Moher, save certain things for after you get a job and you can take time off of that job. And I think you'll be better off than spending the money that you have, and then you'll be freaking out and like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of money. What am I going to do? And then you're struggling to pay rent for the first month or the first 2 months. You can just bypass all of that. Get a job, make money, and then say, hey, I want to go see the Cliffs of Moher. Can I get 2 days off of work? And then you can get a train or even get a tour and go over to the Cliffs of Moher. And then if you want to go to, I don't know, Belfast, or if you want to go to Cork, or if you want to go, depending on where you are, obviously it's going to change where you want to go. If you're not in Dublin, I would definitely recommend coming to Dublin for a few days, hanging out, seeing it. Weekends probably better. It is more expensive, so you do have to plan for that, but it is more fun on the weekend if you're coming here and you're going to stay in a hostel, because then, you can go out, you can do some fun stuff. Everybody else is out on the weekends, but in the weekday, people are out, but not as much. But that's not important. So, yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some insight on to what I came here thinking and how I've grown because of it. And hopefully that helps you when you come to this trip, and you can try and mentally prepare yourself so you don't fall into that trap that I did. If you have any other questions, please let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And yeah, I will see you guys in our next video.